first win of the year, but it got tough there late. Just how would you wrap up this win?
Well, we just didn't execute real well on the defensive boards. It's something we've worked on all year. It's more of a mindset than it is a skill, and we continue to work on it in practice. We'll work on it again this week until we do a better job. We're just not ending those possessions with the defensive board, and so we're giving a lot of second chance opportunities. And the kid, we've worked also really hard on closing out, not losing three-point shooters. They didn't shoot as well tonight as Central Michigan did, but some of that credit's got to go to our players, to our kids, doing a better job of rotating and getting out there and challenging those shots. So it's one step at a time. They're learning. It's a lot more fun to learn after winning than losing. So we're glad we got it and finished off. And in some ways it's good. It's better to get this type of win than it is to get a win had we continued and scored 102 points to 67. We wouldn't have had this learning experience where now they can learn something about how to finish off a ball game down the stretch. So it's not a negative thing. Would I like for us to play better down the stretch? Absolutely. But it's good that we had a close ball game and we found a way to win, and we can take some of those lessons and move on to the next game.
How good was it to finally be on the other side of having a good shooting night, especially?
Well, actually, that's not entirely accurate. Like, we shot the lights out at Central Michigan.
Yes.
But Central Michigan shot the house out, I guess what it was. So because we shot really well, and we've shot well in other games. It's really not about our offense. It's really about our defense and our rebounding, and that just takes time. We got a lot of kids out there that haven't played a lot of minutes. I try not to get frustrated, but I have to sub them out and tell them what they've done. But they're learning. Like last year, Ivy Brown cleaned up a lot. She was the Defensive Player of the Year in the conference, and she cleaned up a lot of mistakes behind everyone. And so this year, Ranim is learning, and Aram is learning, and Jaleesa, even though she's a grad transfer, she didn't play a lot of minutes at Virginia. So they're all still learning how to play those positions, and the same with the guards. They're improving as well. So it's not so much about whether we shoot the ball well or don't shoot. We're going to score. I really feel like we're going to score. It's whether we're going to be able to defend and rebound, and those are still the two areas that we're working the hardest on.
Did you see a big improvement in three-point defense tonight and defending?
Absolutely. I felt like there weren't a whole lot of uncontested threes, and some of that is we have to run for every time they get an uncontested three. And so, but a lot of it's focus and just carrying the information that they learn from practice and executing that on the floor. And some of it's just experience. You get out there and you don't do well, and you see that on film, and you get disappointed because you lost a ball game and you feel like you didn't do a good job. You bring a different level of attention and focus, and that's what experience is. And they're getting that, and we're getting some experience now. So we're going to continue to improve, and I think by the time we get to conference, we won't be a finished product, but we're going to be a lot better than we are right now.
Coach, you've used a lot of different lineups, especially in the last two games. Sherry Porter's now, and she started 2 straight games. What's kind of your strategy with mixing up the lineup early in the season? There's
2 things there. One, I'm trying to find the best lineup that gives us the best defensive start, and secondly, I'm using there's not a better motivator than that bench. And so a lot of times when you see a young lady sit on that bench, then they come back and they get refocused because they want to play. And if they don't want to play, we don't want them here. And so I'm trying to reward the kids that are playing the hardest on defense and practice, and making sure we get off to a good defensive start. I'm really not concerned about the offense. It was good to see us to get out and run. I mean, we played well offensively in the first half. I just think in the second half we missed a lot of easy shots, and then we panicked a little bit, and we started taking some bad shots. We started taking some challenged layups instead of getting an easy shot, and then our post just didn't finish a bunch of shots around the rim. That they'll get better at that. They're going to improve.
How did you feel about Aram's development tonight, too? It seemed like she struggled a little bit at some points, but then she came back later in the game and really seemed like she had got a little more confidence.
She's going to end up being an impact player. This is the 3rd game she's played in the United States. So she's never played basketball at this level before. And it's a lot. There's not just a lot in the game. There's a lot to comprehend just from the fundamentals of defense, knowing the scout, knowing what we're in offense. And so, she plays. It's not that she doesn't want to be successful. She's still learning how to process all that information, and she's learning. And that sometimes the substitution and taking her out is not. It may appear that she's being subbed out for making a mistake, but the players know they're not being taken out for making a mistake. You get taken out if you don't play hard, but sometimes I sub her out just to teach. And if I wait too many possessions, she won't remember that moment. And so it's about a teaching moment, and not being so focused. Although we're trying to win a ball game, but not being so focused on the immediate moment that you lose the growth process and the bigger picture. So I'm trying to make sure that we continue to grow individually and as a team.
Greg, I know you're all about the team, but I was just a few feet away from you when Todd talked to the players and gave you the game ball for your first win. And I know you're in the moment right now, but again, I know you respect the game and its history, and your first win as head coach here. What does that mean professionally and personally?
Well, more than anything, it means get the monkey off the back. That was amazing. I didn't want to be the only coach to go over in their career, and so at some point you feel like that, even though you've played, you're doing the right things. You've played some really good talent and really good teams, and you know that this will pay off down the road, and so you don't know. I mean, we could have lost this game tonight, and that doesn't mean all of a sudden now we're doing the wrong things. I still believe in what we're doing. I still believe in our players. We got good kids, and it's just a matter of time before we get it jailed. There's learning, there's chemistry, there's experience. There's a lot of things that we've kind of got to acquire before we become a solid team. And so it means a lot to be part of this rich tradition. It meant a lot to me to be a part of it as an assistant and associate head coach with Coach Hurd. And you think about the great coaches that have come through here, either as an assistant or a head coach, and just to be part of that means an awful lot. And so it was a great atmosphere today, and that's one of the things that I love about being here at Western, is even though today was school day and we had about 5,000 kids in there, but we have great fans. We had great fans here. They'll come out for games when the weather's bad. They'll come out when we have maybe an opponent that's not as well known as Iowa or Louisville, but that's one of the special things about coaching basketball in some place where the tradition is so rich as it is Western Kentucky.
Greg, can I ask a follow-up? The sequence, and correct me, you called the timeout. I can't remember who called it, but when they got within 3, and I was watching your bench when you're going over things, and the play you had set up, I think Alexis got the basket, put you up 5. That looked like it was run exactly how you wanted them to run. In other words, how encouraging is that?
They had run the play correctly several times before. Yeah. But really, they just didn't make the correct decision based on how the defense reacted. And so in that particular play, it looked like $1 million because the defense reacted and Alexis made the right read and she got a layup. And so that's still something we're working on. There's times that there's a balance between executing a play and playing the game. And so we're still finding our way with that. And, from Whitney Creech to Sherry Porter to Alexis and Dee, they're all still finding their way a little bit in that balance between making a read and making a play and executing a play for a particular shot. And so they're learning. And tonight I think they did a great job of executing the game plan, of getting the ball inside of the post early. And we were really, I felt like, established our inside game, even though Raneem, some balls were fumbled. We had some 3-second calls on a ROM, and we missed some layups that but that's all part of getting better. And so they're learning to trust each other a little bit more on the play, and I think we'll continue to see better execution and better reads.
Thoughts on the Vancouver shootout? You got a familiar Oregon State team first.
Well, the good thing with Oregon State is Gulach, I forgot her last name. She's gone. But they still have, they got I forgot the guard's name because I really don't look at a team until after we finish the game. And so, but I'm familiar with them, and they've got the transfer that's eligible now from Maryland, and she's really good, little point guard, and they got the rest of the guards back. So they still got the nucleus of a great ball club, and so I'm glad that we're playing another team like that. It's still a big challenge for us, but that's how we learn. That's how we're going to get better. And I tell the players, like, we're not practicing and playing these teams just so that at some point we'll play teams that maybe aren't as good as Oregon State or we're practicing and working so that when we play a schedule like this, we're more competitive with these teams and we have opportunities to win against these teams. So we're looking forward to the tournament. It'll be a tough week. I mean, we're going to end up playing 4 games in this week. We're going to play today, or we play today, and we're going to play Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And so it'll be a lot about managing our legs, managing our energy, but so with the other teams. It's not like we're the only team that's playing 3 games in that 3 days. So it'll be a good experience for our kids. It'll be a good educational trip. A lot of players have never been to Vancouver before. It's a beautiful city. Food's great. And so we're looking forward to it. I know the players are too.
Anything else for Coach?